Back on the show is Anthony Lionheart-Smith, who's going to be taking on Hector Lombard at UFC Fight Night 116 on September 16th. Anthony, how are you?
Good, man.
Awesome. Where you headed to on this Saturday morning?
I'm headed to kind of like a little fun run with my fiance.
Nice.
I got back yesterday, so we do this a lot. We just go and do these real cool runs and half marathons.
Excellent. Good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. And let's talk about your last fight, man. You get the finish on Andrew Sanchez at UFC on Fox 24. It was your second straight win by knockout. How happy were you with your performance in that fight?
It wasn't my best performance, that's for sure. Excuse me. It took me a little while to figure out his timing and get in the groove and really kind of figure out his timing. He did a really good job at hiding a lot of his techniques and masking what he was doing. So, I'm definitely happy with the win. You know, the finish was pretty cool, and it was nice to show that I can kind of dig deep when I got to, but I'd rather not have to do that too often.
Right, for sure. But, Andrew's a very tough guy to finish. Did you feel like the finish was coming as the fight went on?
I did, man. I could tell he was fatiguing, and I knew that everyone kind of touts Andrew as a cardio freak, and I just knew that he wasn't going to outlast me. You know, after clearing up those bacteria issues, I knew that my conditioning was going to hold up. And you know, no one can really they can't handle the pressure that I put on people for 3 rounds. It's not just physical pressure, but it's mental pressure. You know, the stress of just being in there, knowing that I could finish you at any point in time. You know, I'm kind of like I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm like an Anthony Johnson. I'm like Anthony Johnson with better cardio. You know,
right.
I can finish you at any point in time. You know, whether it's early or late. And I think that stresses people out.
Well, the UFC certainly took notice. They're giving you this huge fight here with Hector Lombard. How happy were you when they gave you him as an opponent? Because he's a pretty big name guy.
You know, he is a big name, man. But he's coming off of 3 losses. You know, that kind of bothers me. Kind of puts me in a no-win situation, to be honest with you. We were kind of looking at getting bigger names, at least more relevant names. I don't want to say that Hector's not a big name, but he's not as relevant as he used to be. You know, this isn't the Hector Lombard that's coming straight into Bellator. You know, coming straight from Bellator and kicking people's ass. You know, it's not the same guy. But you know, I'm not complaining. You know, the name is definitely gonna hopefully get me over with the fans a little bit, especially if I get a big finish. But it's kind of a pressure cooker situation. You know, I have to finish Hector, because if not, then I'm struggling with the guy that's been beat by his last 3 opponents. You know, so it's not really just going in there to get the win. I have to do it convincingly, because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Right. Yeah, I definitely see that side of it. You've been very vocal on social media, coming out against performance-enhancing drugs, and Hector is someone who has been caught in the past. Does it sort of add more to this matchup, knowing you're fighting someone that, cheated basically in the past?
Yeah, it does, man. This is my opportunity to prove that cheaters don't win, you know? Whether you get caught or you lose. You know, I think that I'm just a better fighter overall than Hector, you know, and he can be as strong as he wants, and he can, bench press 1,000,000 pounds, but you can't wait, you can't lift weights with your chin, you know, and he could be as strong as he wants, but I'll still choke him unconscious. So, it's kind of a catch-22 for me. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to kind of put him in his place. I've heard that Hector's kind of a big asshole anyways. Yeah. So you can't be a cheater and be a dick. Yeah. It doesn't work like that. You know, you can only be one of those things. So I'm looking forward to it, man. But at the same time, it does piss me off, that regardless if he's using now or not, he did at one point in time, and he's still reaping the benefits of that. Obviously, if you look at him, he doesn't look like a normal person, especially for being 40 years old. So it's definitely helped him.
I feel like your size is going to play an advantage in this fight. Hector's a thick guy, but he's not very tall. You're a pretty lanky guy. Do you feel like that's going to help you in this fight?
I do, man. I don't think that Hector is going to be that much stronger than me. I think leverage plays into this fight big time, and obviously with the reach advantage. And I think by the time we get to the cage, I'll probably be 15 pounds heavier than he is. So I don't see him ragdolling me like he thinks he's going to. I just don't see that. I'm training with monsters every single day, and no one's ragdolling me. And I don't think I've ever been ragdolled my entire career. So and he's just not that type of fighter. You know, I don't see him shooting doubles, and if he does, he's an idiot. So I just don't see where he wins this fight. You know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Training camp, are you still training at Factory X, ahead of this matchup?
I am.
Nice. And how's that going? Because I know you make the commute. You're back home now, but you still doing the commute, coming home on weekends and training there during the week?
Yeah. I come home on the weekends and spend time with my family, and then I'm grinding there all week long. It's a nice little breakup in the monotony of training camp. But when I come home, I'm still training with my jiu-jitsu coach, Scott Morton. So it's been good, man. And, you know, the traveling does start to wear on you towards the end. So I'm about sick of it. So I'm ready to. I got one more trip there. I'm going to do the next 10 days straight, and then I'll come home and hang out for the weekend, and I'll head out to the fight.
Nice. Main training partners. I'm guessing Ian Heinisch, who's he's got a fight coming up for LFA. Is he one of your main guys?
Yeah. Ian is. Me and Ian are we kind of been grinding through this whole training camp together because he fights a week before I do. So Ian's a really good look for Hector. You know, I'm still with Brian and Chris Camozzi, and Austin Jones has been a really good look for Hector. He's been doing a good job at mirroring him. We brought in Gilbert Smith a little bit just to have a kind of a short, stocky southpaw. You know, Dustin Jacoby just fought Glory last night. Still grinding with him. There's just so many guys at Factory X. The team's growing and growing every time I show up. You know, so I think there's like 50 guys there now on the competition team. So it's turning into a super camp, man, and I love it.
So many guys coming down. I just talked to Kyle Noblet the other day. He came down there to train with you guys. I mean, it's really good to have, you know,
that dude's a monster.
He is 8-0. He's headlining the LFA card coming up here.
Yeah, that he's really, really good, man. And he's so strong and he's big, and I think a lot of guys are going to have a problem with him.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I know you're not looking past Hector, but you are a guy who keeps an eye on the division. Is there anyone you want after this as far as the next opponent?
I want someone ranked, man. I really think I deserve it. I know that the UFC worked really, really hard to get me a couple different ranked opponents, and just like I've talked about before, the middleweight division is really weird right now. All the ranked guys are doing a really good job of protecting each other, and they don't even realize it. You know, I've said this several times. All the ranked guys tell me to go fight unranked guys, and all the guys that aren't ranked tell me to fight ranked guys. So I'm kind of stuck in this weird position in the middle, and I'm not saying it's because everyone's afraid of me, but I know that I'm a big risk probably for those guys without a whole lot of reward. But I don't understand how the fuck anyone's supposed to get into the rankings if no one in the rankings will fight you.
Yeah, you're in a weird position. They won't. Yeah, it's like you can't win either way.
Yeah, it's super weird. So I know that Mark Montoya at Factory X and my manager have kind of thrown around the idea of me going to 205. So we've kind of talked about it a little bit. It's kind of something we're tossing around. I'm pretty open to whoever in the next fight, but you know, I would like I think Tim Boach would be a really fun fight. You know, it's a guy that I really respect and that has had a really good career, and someone that I could really test myself against. And I'm kind of the opposite of everyone else. I hate fighting people that I don't like, because it kind of consumes you a little bit, just the anger you have for those people. So, you know, I'm really annoyed with Hector. So he's just being a douchebag on social media, you know, and being a bro, and he's just a douchebag. So I'd like to fight someone like Tim Boach, just because you can just focus on the fight and focus on going in there and just putting on a big show, and you don't have to hype anything up, because everybody knows the two of us would put a good fight on. So I've been kind of watching that Open St. Preux and Shogun fight. I feel like that one would be a cool introduction into 205 if that's the direction that we go. I know that the UFC is really trying to push people to fight close to their natural weight class, and I don't think it's any secret that I have a hard time making 185, especially the older I get. So, you know, I think I still have some fights at 185, but I'm definitely open to moving up to light heavyweight.
Well, the timing's interesting too, because 205's a mess right now. I mean, we don't know what's happening with John Jones. Is right now it looks like Volkan Oldsmir might be the number one contender. I mean, things are so wide open right now. If you stepped in there, you'd be right in the mix. I mean, let's be honest.
And that's exactly what it is. I'm not going to pretend like I'm just doing it for fun. I think that the path is a lot clearer, and that's not to say that it's any easier, but it's, you know, with John Jones got his situation going on, Anthony Johnson's gone, and I mean, let's not pretend like I'm not looking at the fact that two of the biggest monsters in the world are out of the division right now. You know, that's definitely an opportunity to get in there and make some big money and make some waves. And if John Jones comes back later or Anthony Johnson comes back later, you can already kind of have your feet wet in the division and not be kind of thrown to the wolves right away. So, I think a couple, 2-3 big finishes at 205 or good performances get you can get you pretty close to a title shot. So, I mean, I'm not stupid. I'm a business guy at the same time. So it's definitely a clearer path to the title. So, 85 is a Shark Tank right now, especially with GSP and Whitaker and Bisping, and it's kind of a jumble up there. You got Rockhold fighting the number 10 dude in the world when it's a jumble fuck right now, which is a good problem to have. I mean, it's definitely not a bad thing, but it definitely creates problems for the rest of us. So, we'll see how it goes, man. I just need to get through this one first and make sure that I show up and do what I need to do. And I think we'll have a lot of options open up after this fight.
Everyone's got to check out this fight. It's a UFC Fight Night 116 coming up here on September 16th. Anthony, always a pleasure having you on here, man. I know the MMA Hour won't give you the time of day, but you're always allowed here on the program, man. It's always good to talk to you. Where can people get a hold of you on social media? And if you got any thank yous or shout outs, the floor is yours, man.
Just hit me up on Twitter. It's @LionheartSmith. My Instagram is Anthony Smith UFC, and that's all I got on social media. I guess I do have a fan page on Facebook, apparently. That's totally me, by the way. I'm definitely running that all by myself. No, but my Twitter and my Instagram is actually me, and my Facebook's not. But whoops, there we go. Got a phone call. Whoops. All right. And thanks for the support. I think everyone knows that I'm kind of anti-media these days, but you guys have always been good to me, and I really appreciate that. So